Well, it's without a doubt the most eagerly awaited movie of the year. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, opens in the States in just over a week. But the most fiercely fought battle in any galaxy began as fans led the charge for the new Star Wars toys.
We are the dorks of the century.
America prepared itself for a merchandising madness when a brand new batch of Star Wars toys blasted into stores at the stroke of midnight. The crowd went wild at New York's FAO Schwartz to be the first to get their hands on the stuff, and here's a glimpse of what every kid will be clamouring for.
This is my first trip. I'm going to give it to a friend, come back to another trip, come back to another trip. I'll pay the credit card bills later. What do I care?
And buying is just what toy stores are counting on. With the hot new Lego set and everything from Darth Maul to the double-bladed lightsaber, analysts predict spin-off sales could exceed $1 billion.
And nobody should sleep until Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, comes out.
The mania spread to Denver as a convention of worshippers decked out as their sci-fi favourites.
Harrison Ford, eat your heart out.
I'm from Tennessee. I'm from Minnesota.
And the force hit the Big Apple as New Yorkers hunkered down and began a long wait for tickets.
Some of my friends do think it's a little over the top.
They understand I'm a Star Wars freak, and this is something I have to do.
And MTV debuts the new Star Wars video, and we have your sneak peek. And Australian fans of Star Wars will have to wait until June to catch the sci-fi flick, but stick around for your first look at the set of Star Wars. That's a little later in the show.
Star Wars fans ready themselves for the film's release. E.T.'s Leonard Maltin received some very special advanced treatment from Star Wars creator George Lucas himself.
I've just come from the first West Coast screening of the new Star Wars movie. Lucky enough to see it 2 weeks before everybody else. And let me tell you, it's incredible.
There were only 2 top-secret screenings in Los Angeles, and Leonard was the only journalist invited to join a few lucky fans of The Force.
It's a whole world. It's not just a movie. It's an entire environment that George Lucas has created. And it's like nothing I've ever seen before.
When I first saw some film, and especially film of the desert in Tunisia, and I said, oh, I'm back. The characters were standing there, and it was Star Wars.
Co-star Samuel Jackson has wanted to be part of Star Wars from the beginning.
I was at the first showing. I was there. I saw it a lot of times after that. I'm a huge fan of the series.
All the movies kick ass. I mean, I just can't wait to see the other one.
Of course, my children would love to see it, and of course I'll go and see it.
We'll definitely go. We're not
going to be waiting in line a few weeks before, but...
As Star Wars mania reaches fever pitch, even Hollywood's biggest stars are flashing back to their first ever trip to a galaxy far, far away.
I remember when I saw the first one, and it was fun, and it was funny, and it was deep sometimes, and it was gorgeous.
I've seen all of them, and I'll see this one too.
I have to admit that one morning I took 2 cinnamon raisin Danish, and I stuck them on my head, and I said, honey, guess who I am?
Coming up a bit later on the show, we have exclusive, never-before-seen images for you from the new Star Wars. And next week, Leonard sits down for a one-on-one with George Lucas himself. And in a shock announcement today, Star Wars star Liam Neeson has announced that he's through making movies. The 46-year-old actor will retire from the big screen next year to concentrate on the theatre. And so it's understandable that fans have been camping outside cinemas awaiting the latest installment. Creator George Lucas has closely guarded all aspects of his production, but now we can bring you never-before-seen material handed over straight from George himself. From candid moments behind the scenes with the stars to the latest alien faces to new full-throttle scenes from the movie, that's today's cover story. Step into the world of Star Wars Episode 1, and what becomes clear is both a sense of wonder and a feeling of déjà vu.
George's tales, the Star Wars tales, have really tapped into a psyche in the world that popular culture has never done before.
Set 30 years before the original Star Wars, Episode 1 centers on Luke Skywalker's father, Anakin, played by child actor Jake Lloyd.
He's been a slave in his entire life. on Tatooine, and now he has to leave his mom. She's been the only person that's there for him for his entire life.
Freed from slavery, Anakin comes under the guidance of Obi-Wan Kenobi, played by Ewan McGregor, who says fans will be blown away when the Jedi return.
They're familiar with it because it started with the same world. It's the same world with new characters, you know, or younger characters. But it's great. It's the same kind of fairy tale characters, you know, that make it work so well.
One of those new characters is sure to become an audience favorite, the computer-animated alien Jar Jar Binks, voiced by newcomer Ahmed Best.
There's never been a real comic character in any of the Star Wars movies, like just outright comic. The character of Jar Jar, he was banished from his world because he was clumsy.
But whether it's new characters or just younger versions of old favorites, the inhabitants of that galaxy far, far away have at long last finally arrived.
I was about 5 or 6 when the first one came out, so they're more than just movies to me, and you know, so to be walking around here now is quite astonishing.
Unbelievable. Millions of Star Wars fans across America plan to take a sickie from work to catch the May 19th premiere. Experts predict that it'll cost business more than $300 million in the States, and that as many as 2.2 million employees will be absent from work to be amongst the first to see Star Wars Episode 1. It's been 4 years in the making, but finally the wait is nearly over. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, is about to blast its way into cinemas worldwide, and the film's stars, Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman and newcomer Jake Lloyd, are likely to experience mob adoration worthy of pop stars. As fans of the sci-fi series scramble for the latest news, only E.T. can take you behind the scenes for the scores of costumes which could only come from a galaxy far, far away. That's today's E.T. cover story.
When I initially saw the designs, I was like, wow, I have to do this.
As if its stunning special effects weren't enough, the Phantom Menace boasts a galaxy of majestic costumes that impress even the Jedi Knights.
I just think they're great costumes. I think Ewan looks fantastic in his.
You look good in yours. You look fantastic.
Yep, I think that looks good.
Writer-director George Lucas says the prequel has the most elaborate wardrobe of any film in his illustrious career, topping even the original epic.
On the first films, costumes were designed not to draw attention to themselves. In the new film, the costumes do draw attention to themselves. They have to, because they're in a more sophisticated society. And to do that and keep it timeless is much more difficult. So this is red, and then this is red.
To create this cosmic couture, Lucas enlisted the aid of renowned costume designer Trisha Bigger, who assembled 50 of Hollywood's finest wardrobe artists.
When I first started in the film, we were going to have 3 costumes for the Queen. And as time went on, George decided that every time we saw the Queen that she was going to have a different costume.
No, Your Highness.
There's so many changes for me because a queen can't wear the same outfit twice.
She travels, she goes to the Senate, and each one of those demanded a different type of costume.
And Portman's sci-fi frocks were only the beginning. The costume department labored for nearly a year to create dozens of dazzling designs inspired by the ancient cultures of Europe, Asia and Africa.
The look of the costumes like taps into all these various cultures that we all subliminally recognize, you know? It's very clever. You still have much to learn, my young apprentice.
And while Jedi robes may seem relatively plain, Ewan McGregor insists they're a perfect fit.
It was extraordinary to stand in front of the mirror with all my wardrobe on and stuff. Because I was Obi-Wan Kenobi, you know, and it was quite a moment for a young man.
As the duo battles the dark side, they encounter an interstellar cast of thousands. Producer Rick McCallum told E.T. each has their own distinct look.
You can't go to a wardrobe shop and rent costumes for this kind of movie. That was so apparent to us from the very beginning. What wasn't apparent to us was how many costumes we'd have to build. It ended up being about 1,100.
We've done 2 versions of this armour in different types of quilting.
To do individual costumes and do them in the thousands is a very, very difficult task. But I did want the military to have several different kinds of outfits, that the officers were different than the enlisted men, that the pilots were different than the troopers.
I will sign no treaty, Senator.
But among the alien hordes, Portman is the film's most stunning vision, and she even appreciates the heavy headpieces.
It's good for like the effect of the film, as long as it doesn't like give me brain damage or anything. I'm all for it.
Aren't they just brilliant? And if the costumes are anything to go by, the film will be just amazing. And tomorrow our Star Wars coverage continues with a look at George Lucas, the master, at work.
As Star Wars gets set to blast off, Leonard Moulton brings us more answers to our American ET viewers' questions and an exclusive Star Wars clip given to us by George Lucas himself.
Senator, this is your arena. I feel I must return to mine.
There's trouble on Tatooine, and we have your first look at a new scene.
But Your Majesty, be realistic, that they'll force you to sign the treaty.
I will sign no treaty, Senator. My fate will be no different than that of our people. Captain.
Your Highness.
Ready my ship.
Please, Your Majesty, stay here where it's safe.
Phantom Menace mania is mounting, and there's no luckier man in the galaxy than creator George Lucas.
I could never imagine the path that life has given me. I would have never expected to be here where I am.
And you'd have to be from Mars to have missed the hype surrounding the movie. Sifting through the 5,000 questions sent to ET online found frenzied fans desperate for Star Wars secrets.
Sean wants to know, will Anakin Skywalker's father's identity be revealed in Episode 1?
Anakin's father's identity is complicated, and it is revealed in Episode 1, Sean.
Will I ever see you again?
Todd says, it's been mentioned in other interviews that 9 episodes were created. 1 through 3 are about Anakin, and 4 through 6 are about Luke. Who are episodes 7 through 9 about, and will they ever be made?
Well, Todd, 7 through 9 really came about when I was on one of these press junkets, and somebody said, are you going to do sequels? And I said, well, you know, I have these prequels and stuff, but I'm not sure I'll ever do sequels. And they said, oh, you should do sequels. And I said, well, maybe someday I'll do sequels. And so that's how 7 through 9 came to be. There was never a script or a story, so I haven't the vaguest idea what would happen in 7 through 9. And I really don't think they'll ever get made because I would be like 90 years old by the time I got them finished.
And she may be only 17, but Star Wars' Natalie Portman is set to conquer the universe thanks to this film. And you can find out more about this teen sensation and her rise to stardom. That story is in this week's Woman's Day.